Welcome to Deliciously Motivated Mindset, hosted by Deborah and Moira. This podcast is designed to help listeners unlock their full potential, both personally and professionally, so they can thrive, not just survive. Deborah and Moira explore how natural tendencies don't always serve individuals and provide insights on how to harness existing strengths. Their goal is to equip listeners with the habits, mindset shifts, and strategies needed for lasting, meaningful change. Finding purpose and fulfillment can be challenging, but this podcast offers expert conversations, practical advice, and valuable tools to help align with a true sense of purpose and create a more fulfilling life. So grab a notebook, open your notes app, and get ready to take in some game-changing insights. Let's dive in.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hi.
Hello, my dear. Here we are for an amazing, this is going to be a really awesome conversation. This is our Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast with Debz or Deborah. I have to call you your proper name now.
No, don't. What is my proper name? Call me whatever you want to call me.
Deborah or Debz. Debz and
Deborah.
Moira. But we're going to be talking about you are the boss of you. I think this is something that I actually often say. You are the boss of you. Nobody else is the boss of you before you are.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to where we go with this conversation. But dear listeners, if you've been listening to our episodes of late, you know that I like to just take us through a little bit of a set the tone, ground your energy, land in this present space and time. So if it feels comfortable for you, and if you're in a space you can do that, I encourage you to place one or both hands over your heart space and just take a really deep breath in, inflating your belly, and then sigh it out with a long, slow out breath. And we'll do two more like that together. Breathing in, landing here in this space and time in the cosmos. Breathing out anything that doesn't serve you. And as you breathe in, set an intention and say to yourself, maybe even, I am worthy. Breathe in. I am worthy. And then as you breathe out, animate that breath saying, I am enough. Breathing out all the way out. Breathe in, I am worthy. Breathe out, I am enough. And just simply by placing your hand over your heart, one or both, and reminding yourself that you are worthy, that you are enough, allow yourself to get more of an expansive connection, a felt connection with myself, with Deb, and with everybody else listening to this episode. No matter what time or where, we can actually all connect energetically. So just see, what does that feel like? You might feel like a sense of warmth or a gentle hug or just an acknowledgement that you matter, that you are here, you're in the right place at the right time, and above all, you are truly the boss of you. Just taking that intention, one more nice deep breath, and I encourage you to pick up a note-taking device of some sort, because we're going to dive into this conversation all about ideas and strategies and tips and ideas and techniques. You are the boss of you. Where would you like to start with this one?
Well, my mind did a marathon when you started talking, and it grounded me back to you're the boss of you. And I was like, where do I start? Where do I start? Where do I start? And I'm like, you just start. And it kept bringing me back to just hearing your soothing words, going, you are the boss of you. And I think there's a difference in hearing it to actually believing it. Because I can tell a person that they are phenomenal. They are a gift to this world. but until you can feel it yourself, it is just lip service. So people see something in us that we often don't see ourselves. So for
sure.
us, for me to go, Moira, I think you're amazing. And well, actually, I could say that to Moira and she'll just go, thank you. I know. Tell me something I don't.
No, I wouldn't say
Because
that part. I wouldn't be that part. I would say thank you.
that would be a Deborah part. That's what Deborah would say. Oh, I know that. Tell me something I don't. I think with that whole you are the boss of you, it's just reminding ourselves that people can see our worth more than what we can see it. So take a little bit of what they're saying. Don't take all the you're a shite person and you're that sort of stuff. Take a little bit of what they're saying and take it in and go from their perspective. So just having a look like, I don't know how to sum this up, like an outsider looking in and going, actually, you know what? Moira says this to me. I can actually see there's examples of me doing this. Oh, I can believe that because there's evidence of it. So I guess it's looking for that evidence, making yourself see or feel that. Listen to those people who are giving you those words of golden nuggets just to remind you. Because then when you can see the evidence, you can actually believe it more instead of trying to pretend to quotation trick your mind or anything like that. Did that sum up what I was trying to say?
I think so. I hear what you're saying. There's the
a few
difference
things in
between
there,
really
yeah.
embodying it,
Yeah,
basically,
that's it. Yeah.
and having, so it's important to embody it. However, I want to take this a little bit of a different space, because when I say to people, you are the boss of you, where I'm coming from, whether it lands for you or you feel like you're embodying being your own boss, I also think it's very, very important to remember that nobody can make you say or feel something unless you go into agreement with it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about, no, you're the boss of you. So if somebody yells at you and you get angry, well, you got angry. They didn't, it's not them yelling at you, that you have to choose that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and yes, it does. And that is so true, but nobody can make you feel a certain way. They said this and it made me feel this.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they did an action and you did
You
your
chose,
tangent.
and you chose. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a valid one
Mhm.
because it's your feeling. You chose to do that. You chose to take that emotion on board. But somebody else who may not have those past experiences from handling with that will take on a different emotion. So also being aware of your past experiences, your stories, your triggers, your alertness. If you know there's a particular person who says things and you don't like talking to them, and because of that, you're already going to be on edge. So just being aware. So opening your eyes to, I guess, the triggers that are around, if I say triggers, with people as well. Because people actually are the catalyst behind this. We give our power away. We give our whole power away of what do you think? What do you think? And they say black and you're adamant it's white. Well, now you've got a whole different discussion, and I'll be nice and I'll just ask them what do they think. And then next thing you know, we're having to redesign the whole house. I say that's not me, but that's exactly it. I don't like this. The next thing, everything changes.
It's just rippled all the way through. I want to read something out, because before we joined our energies here together, I came across this really cool meme or graphic on Facebook, and I thought, oh, it's entitled "Things You" in capital letters can control.
Oh,
And this is all about you being the boss of you. So there's, I think there's 9 of them. So what you can control is what you do in your free time, who you spend time with, how you recover from challenges, your boundaries, your daily habits, the way you speak to yourself, the content you consume, kindness towards yourself and others, and how grateful you are. That's the perfect one to end it in, isn't it?
Wow.
Isn't that
Yeah.
powerful? And I think that's such a beautiful reminder of how powerful we are. That's
They are all solid. And that's the end of our podcast, people.
That's it. There's your 9 tips. That's how you can be the boss of you.
I love that. And I, of course, I love the very end one that we wrapped it up in. No
Yes.
surprises. But I love that. What can you control? Well, I say your actions, decisions, and emotions.
Hmm.
That like in any particular. That's me. But I loved all of those. They were so valid for being you are the boss of you.
Absolutely. What did you just say? Your actions, your decisions,
And your emotions.
and your emotions. Okay. You say you think you can control your emotions.
Yeah, I can shut them down, add them, enhance them, I can turn them, but they've got to come out. I've got to feel them and see them
Yeah,
first.
that's there you did it.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
right.
No,
Yes.
no, not because I'm like, I'm going to do this. Yeah, no, no. Once I recognize it, once I can see it, then I
Yeah.
can decide on my emotions. So I can choose to, well, the other day I went into check-in and the lady was, and she did me for, it was $75. I'm still clearly peeved about it. I can hear it.
Oopsie.
$75 and I was 1.2 kgs over
Oh
in my
no.
2 suitcases. And I said, okay, I'll take something out. She goes, yep, that's great. So I took out a drink bottle and 3 socks.
Only
Just saying,
three.
3 socks and a drink bottle because I bought a drink and I went, I'm not the drink $3.50 drink and I went, I'm not throwing this out. I'm going to take that back. When I get back, I'm going to use it to drive. It's going to keep me awake. You know, I'd had all these stories
Mhm.
around that. Anyway, I took out my 3 socks and my 1 drink bottle and we weighed it and she goes, that's great, thank you. And just so we did the whole process and she goes, now if you just go down there and pay your $75. And I went, what do you mean? I said, I've just taken my things out. She goes, no, but you're already over. It doesn't matter if you take it out now, you're already over. I said,
Oh, that
but I've
doesn't make
taken it out.
sense.
I know, you can imagine me. So my emotions were like, what? And and so at the moment, I'm like, who's the boss of me? She's the boss of me. I was like, I don't think so. My ego, I could feel my ego puppy going, mm-mm-mm. I said, but I've taken it out. And I said, I'm throwing this drink away. She goes, yes, I know, but you already came here with the 1.2 over. And I was like, but I've taken it out. And she goes, no, you're missing my policies. And so she went into this big whole rant. And I did the worst thing I thought I could have done. I just put my hand over my mouth and I turned my back on her. I had to because honestly, the demon in me was about to be
To start
unleashed.
to
I
really
was
say something.
I was about ready, and I thought, I'm so angry right now. I could feel it. It was brewing, and I couldn't understand her logic. And I'm like, you know what? And I'm just gonna leave this, and I just put my hand and I just turned my back. And she kept ranting, like
Oh
that's really gonna
no.
help, love. See,
Oh no.
and people around me were looking at me, and I know I was rude to her. Anyway, I went and paid the $75 and went, okay, Deborah, admittedly, you were 1.2 over. Yes, at the end of the day, you were. That's it. End of. You were the
End
one.
of story.
Did you fail on? Yes, absolutely. But it went into a whole different thing. And I went, what could I have done differently? I could have negotiated. I could have done all these things. And I went, she's not going to hear anything. You did the
No.
right thing. And only, like Tony Robbins says, choose what does he say? Choose
So
your battles.
worthy opponent.
Yeah, are you a worthy opponent?
Are you
Yeah,
worthy
that one.
opponent? Yeah.
Yeah. And my partner goes, pick the battles to win the war, meaning are they worthy? I'm like, okay, everyone, I can hear it. But even when I went down to the airport lounge and one of the ladies were there, she came up, she goes, did you get charged your $75? I said, yes, I did. And she says, I saw that woman. She says, we stood in the queue. There was 4 people before you and she ripped into everyone. Everyone had to pay. She said, I reckon she had a
Wowzers.
bet on. She said, and we said to ourselves, please don't get her, please don't get her, please don't get her. And somebody came and took us. She said, we were 3 point something over and our lady let it through.
Oh,
And
wowzers.
and all of this feedback, I'm like, I should have been mean to her. I should have, I could hear my crazy. I'm like, right, I've got her name. I'm gonna sue her. And then I'm like, let it go, Deborah.
Yeah.
Deborah, you are the boss of you. This is not worth your time. This is not worth your energy. Blah 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 blah. And so I was like, you're gonna have to do the work on this because this is gonna keep. This is me going. Pull yourself back. Watch your emotions. I got on the plane. And she was which they don't do. I don't know why. She was standing at the plane. She goes, oh, I see you got on the plane with your hand luggage. The lady was there at the thingy. And I was like, hold it in, Deborah. And I was like, yes, thank you. And I was just like,
Have
sit
a nice
down.
day. Have a
Oh,
nice day.
man. I was like, she's poking me. And all I kept thinking about is all I think about is control your actions, decisions, like emotions. Keep it calm. And I had to do that because it would have been, I'm going to say, a catastrophic event. Because I reckon if I'd let loose, I don't know if I would have got on that plane. Like I
Right.
can now, I was so angry for me to turn my back. You can imagine me. I just put my hand and clasp it and turn my back, just like I'm not listening.
But that's
And it,
actually a really, really beautiful, as tumultuous as it was and explosive as it was for you, it was actually a really good example that you were the boss of you.
totally, I
And that
just
even but sometimes, and
all
sometimes
the
we do
way,
have
the
to,
whole journey, all the
yeah.
blooming hearing about it in the lounge. I was like, what? And then she's on I was like, what is she doing on my plane? And I'm like, clearly, Deborah, there's 3 things with this woman. It's time to neutralize it. And by the way, listeners, I haven't.
Yes,
Because
there's still some charge here.
there's
You're
still
the
a little,
boss of you.
but I totally had to do that because I knew the ramifications if I had of, and she wouldn't have cared. She wouldn't have
No,
cared.
because she wasn't open to hearing. If she's somebody that says you didn't hear my policy, it's like she's really stuck on that policy,
And to
and
think she had 4 people before me that she'd
it
been
did
doing
the
this
same.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
very
it's a
stuck.
crock of shite. Her policy wasn't that policy. If I ask anyone, I'm sure it's not heard of, but I'm choosing, I will choose to let it go. But it is an example exactly of how I manage my emotions.
Yep.
And they weren't the nicest. My mouth, that fiery, biting mouth,
Smarkiness.
I kept that shut so much so I physically put my hand over my mouth and turned my back. I was like, just don't. But she still had her point. She still wanted to make her point. So she decided to be the boss of her, while I decided to take control and not fire back,
Right.
because that was the wisest solution to get me out of that country.
But as
For a
I'm listening,
$75 experience.
$75, as I'm listening to your story, there are pieces in what you shared, that the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements help us be the boss of us. So, and you did it. So
Yeah.
being the boss of you means you're going to be impeccable with your word. And sometimes that does mean you've got to put your hand over your mouth and go, oh.
I can't remember the last time I ever put my hand over my mouth. And it just went straight there.
Yep.
And it was
just the words that are kind of trying to get out of my mouth, they're not going to serve. They're not
best not to.
best not to. But the other one too is not making assumptions just because she's doing this, assuming that you're supposed to do something different or prove something or explain it or get her to change her mind, because you weren't. But the big one is not to take it personally. Particularly, and actually that got beautifully validated when you were in the lounge and found out other people had the same experience, right? So it wasn't all about you.
I know.
And then you just do your best. Okay, your best at that moment was to go and suck it up and pay the money. So the 4 agreements do really help us claim that ownership and that we are the boss of us, right?
Yes, and I mean, I didn't even think about the 4 agreements, but my quick thing is, my God, I want to rip her. And then my instant head went, this is not going to get you out of the country.
Right.
Like, stop right now, Deborah, or this is going to throw you right out. And it was literally that quick a decision. Didn't even think about, I just went, no, Deborah, just get yourself in that box and just suck it up type thing. That was my internal dialogue, just, very quick. But I love, you're right, because what can I control? It was those, don't take anything personally, do my best. And there's other things I could have done and just listened and smiled, and that wouldn't have worked for me in that particular point of time. Just listened and smiled and took it all in. No. But there was I literally, what can I control? I could control the environment because I was in it, and it could have turned if I'd stood up and voiced louder, we would have had a pretty big ramification, I would suspect.
Definitely, because as soon as you stand up and dig in and try and challenge, then the other person's going to meet that. That's
And I'm in
not,
the airport.
I
I'm
know. You don't,
in a place to lose your shite, and it's when no one's around home and you're doing it to yourself. Like then you can have it all, and then you can cancel it. But publicly in the airport, where you know could
yeah, not
potentially
the best place.
there's a
Not the best place.
no, but it was about staying, you're right, in control.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel out of control. I went, this is the best thing for me.
Yeah.
That lady, it must have been so funny. Everyone looked, I was like, whoop, and she still carried on. I'm like, honey, read the room.
That's quite funny. So she obviously had some kind of
She had a
she had an
bee in her
agenda. She had an agenda, right? And
Well, to think
that's
it stung 4 people prior,
that,
what makes
yeah.
me think, knowing that I didn't know that at the time, but what makes me think that I'm going to like there's going to be a resolution? What makes you think that you're so special that you're not going to get done, Deb?
Right. Yep.
Like, really? That
Yep.
blooming $3 drink.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But you see, being the boss of you, that's, you know, that question I've suggested using before. I think I'm probably bringing that, I want this one up every time, is how does this make me feel about me? So
Yeah.
how does it make me feel about me arguing against this or pushing or demanding that I get heard?
Yeah.
Because when we remember that we are the boss of us, nobody makes us feel discombobulated or stressed out or that we have to obey their agenda or something unless we say, I'm going to do it. So sometimes we are in environments where, you know, everybody's going to say, hey, we got to follow this tribe and going to walk this way. But if I check in and say, how does this make me feel about me? Well, it makes me feel a little bit nervous, or it makes me feel inauthentic, or it makes me feel like I'm being led astray or out of alignment with my own heart's intelligence. Then even if I need to walk all by myself going a different way, so be it. So I think that that's part of us being the boss of us, is we're not sheep. We don't just blindly follow along saying, well, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, yeah, well, there's a lot of that kind of
Well, I think
stuff
you can,
going on, right?
I think when we talk about the boss of you can pick and choose.
Yes.
Because there's other times I would rip a whatever in her, but it was just easier to go, you know what?
That's going into the how does this make me feel about me, but also acknowledging, is it a worthy adversary, worthy opponent? Because to your point, if she's really hell-bent on saying, oh, this is the policy and you have to, like, yeah, no, talk to the hand, you know, the one that's slapped over your mouth there.
And the other thing is, you know, how does this make me feel about me? How does this make me feel about me right now? But how does this make me feel about me down the track if I did rip a if I did, how would that make me feel? Deborah, you have a level of, that's not cool to do that to that poor woman. You know, she didn't deserve that. She was just doing a job. At the end of the day, you were 1.2 kgs over.
Right.
For a bloomin' drink and 3 socks. Like, but at the end of the day, that's all it was. And I mean, I didn't even, I know for a fact that you can go, if it's 24, you can go up to 24.9 kgs because they allow you up to 24.
Right.
But they're, for the membership I'm on is 24. So you can go up to 24.9.
Okay. But you go,
but normal people are 23.
Okay.
See, so mine was 24.2. And I was like, okay, that's still under the 24.9 is my head. It's on 24. And she's like, no, it's 23. And then she started on this rant and I went, oh, Deb, just get it out. Stop now. And the bloomin' drink, the most expensive drink ever that stayed in my suitcase, that I left at the airport anyway, didn't stay in my suitcase. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it is, how does it make me feel about me? Because if I was cruel to her, if I did take it personally and decided to outspeak her, verbals,
tear a strip off her or something. Yeah,
there wouldn't have been a nice outcome for both of us.
No. No,
No.
and you would have carried the heaviness, and so would she. So would she.
Imagine the next person.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yes.
Well, I was at the start of check-in. I checked in 2.5 hours. Usually most people check in about 2 hours for internationals, but yeah, would have been a lot more people, and if it had gone somewhere worse, it would have affected all the other people who would have gone to her for check-in.
I was just thinking of that sometimes when we experience those kind of challenges, when we really embody this idea that we are the boss of us, we are not challenged with anything that we cannot come through. And so perhaps when that with something like that happening is to kind of take on a sense of curiosity of like, so what else is going on in my thinking process, or what my energies maybe a wee bit off. Like what's the gift? What's the wisdom? Where's the gratitude in this challenge, right?
Yeah. And if you have, there's always a gift when you go to reflect and bring in that curiosity. Actually gone, oh, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look what this really means for me. What does this mean for me here, down the track, for this? And I love that curiosity.
Me too. It's been coming up a fair bit. I think last episode we talked about curiosity also.
Yeah, celebrate that curiosity that you've got something, and when you can be curious, not be an a-hole by asking a gazillion questions, but actually be curious, but also be curious to yourself. You don't have to get these answers from other people. Again, which is you are the boss of you.
Yes.
If you have the wisdom within you.
Well, and that's where I'm coming from, is that to me, what I love about being curious is it's not asking a gazillion questions like you just said, but it's kind of like, oh, this person just said something to me and I feel criticized, or I feel got at, or I feel triggered.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
with curiosity, you can kind of sit in and go, oh, what's missing? Where's some kindness that I need to give into myself, right?
Well, it's also jumping back to, you are the boss of you, is jumping into your self-care.
Yeah.
Soothing kit.
Self-soothing kit.
Can't even frickin' flip and say it. The self-soothing kit, but it is that. Let's just jump back to that. Let's take that back to the boss of you. Sometimes you do need to walk away. Sometimes you do need to do whatever, but you are the boss of you. So it's, I guess that goes back to how does that make me feel about me? Again, that other one.
And then, so even when we do things like that, with coming from a self-soothing kit, sometimes it might just be, I don't have the bandwidth to deal with this right now, and walk away.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're saying, I'm never going to address this, I'm never going to unpack this or figure it out.
Doesn't mean you're a failure, you're walking away, you're surrendering, you're giving in. It just means I'm taking control back into my world right now.
Yep.
And I'm just going to fill myself up with what I need, and then I can come back at the right time. That works for me in my brain capacity, so I can dissolve, work on this. Be curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Resolve, dissolve, be curious.
Be curious.
Yeah. See, there's a tagline. Resolve, dissolve, be curious.
I think there's always something to work on. So I guess the other thing is don't avoid it. If you spot it, you got it. Don't avoid this stuff. If it comes up, actually look at it, because it just repeats.
It does.
Just repeats, and I tell you, it repeats, and it comes out at the most inconvenient time to your lifestyle. I'm going to tell everyone.
The eruption will happen.
And it's not in a time when you think is a safe time. It's when it's delivered.
Yeah.
That's it. End of. You might go, why didn't you wait till I got home and no one's around? And then you deliver this news to me. Why did you have to do it in public? Well, you didn't deal with it in the start. Okay. End of. So when we say be curious, take the time and unpack it. And I guess that's where Moira and Deb come in.
Yes, I would say so.
I would say, if you want the time to unpack it with us. I'll tell you how to hold your mouth when you're at the airport.
And I'll teach you how to do some deep breathing techniques to actually let go.
Hand on your heart, and you're just standing there and you just grab your boob and you're digging your nails, and I'll give you those ones.
I am the boss of me.
Yeah, I am the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. Doesn't matter how you look, how it is. It's about taking your your essence back to you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
So you and Debz are here.
we are here for you, and we walk this talk. The ideas and suggestions that we suggest, as you probably gathered, we're telling you the truth about what we experience and what we've
Telling you
gone through.
Deborah's triggers. Don't go to the airport with her. Don't go to the airport with her.
Weigh your suitcase first, so and assess. Do you need to take something out before you get to the airport?
Yeah, that's it. Assess. Or don't be so blooming attached to a $3 drink bottle. If I'd thrown that out, if I'd thrown that drink out, yeah, right from the start. But yeah, we are here. We generally, what we do, what we say to you is what we use, not only on ourselves, but for the people we talk to
Yeah, for the
daily.
people we serve, absolutely. And we have, it's about shifting perspective, because this whole idea of being the boss of you, it's intended to empower you, not disempower you.
Yeah.
And so there are going to be times where you get pissed off at something and snarl or snap, or it's okay. It's part of being human, actually. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But being the boss of you means you be curious. Oh, I just lost my cool at this incident or this thing that happened. Oh yeah, because I'm exhausted. I'm really worried. I've got something else on my mind. And then just come into the self-soothing. So come into the calmness as best you can in that moment.
You're listening to Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, here to help listeners unlock their full potential so they can thrive, not just survive. They've shared some very powerful insights so far, so it's time to take a moment to breathe, reflect, and jot down any key takeaways. What's one piece of advice that stands out to apply right away? Before wrapping up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from everyone. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback, and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how listeners are putting these insights into practice. Let's dive back in and finish strong.
Yeah, and I think when I think about this, I hear, see it, hear it, acknowledge it. Don't avoid it. If you can see, hear, and acknowledge it, it just calms your farm instantly. You're just like, okay, I can say I don't want to acknowledge it, but it's there. Like, it's there. I mean, at the end of the day, I broke the law. According to her, I broke the law. I was over. End of. Deborah, you are so, when it goes to that fighting, it's like, there's no point, Deborah, you did this. So I saw myself, I heard myself, and I acknowledged it. That's it. And that's stopped me right there. I went, well, actually, you did it. Now, her policies, I think, were a little bit wayward. And if I really Googled and went down that path, that's a crock of shite, I would say, personally. But at the end of the day, I just went, yeah, you know what? I am 1.2 over. That, like, there's a fact. There is a fact on the scales. I can see that.
Yep.
I just thought if you took it out, you don't get stung for it, but too late, it's done. But anyway.
That's an interesting interpretation.
That's a whole new one. But if you can, that's seen, heard, acknowledged, and just do what lights you up right there and then. Do what's best for you, because only you know what's best for you at that time. And that self-soothing kit could mean step away and look at it when the time's right, or, step away and settle your emotions before you're ready to get curious. Step away and have a drink of water, or listen to what they're saying and then step away. Whatever works for you. That self-soothing kit is part of being the boss of you again.
100%. And that, so based on what you were just saying, I think a really important tip is acceptance. So it's accepting what is. Whenever I say acceptance, it never ever means you're saying, I'm keeping it, I approve, I'm okay with it. It's not. It's just saying I accept. So you accept that she was in a position of authority, and you accept her interpretation of the rule.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to agree with her, but it just is what it is. It's done.
That's right.
Moving on.
That's it. Yeah. Can't take it back. Can't do anything. That's it. Yeah. And I think accepting is just a level of, okay, now I can deal with it. Like
Yeah.
it just shuts that chaos down. But the other thing when I want to talk about You're the Boss of You is when we talk about this accepting what is actually gauge your emotions. Just go, you know what? I'm an 11 out of 10 of emotions right now. I'm
Yeah.
so better to walk away. I'm so better to walk away. Or I'm a 1 out of 10 for emotions. I can stay and listen to this a little bit longer.
Yes.
So, or engage in this a little bit longer, but be aware of, and I guess that's that acknowledge, and accepting again is just see where you're at and go, okay, like I went straight to an 11 out of 10.
Yep.
100%. I went straight. I missed the 1, 2, 3, 4. I just went straight to 11 out of 10.
Blasted to the top.
And I went, oh no, there's no coming back my head went, there is no coming back if you open your mouth, is what I heard. And so that's why I just had to stop. I literally went, that's it, done. Zip. But just seeing your emotions to go, you know what, I can listen to this a little bit longer, or I just actually want to go to an 11 out of 10, then there's no point. No one's going to hear anything because you're not being the boss of yourself when you lose it.
Yeah. I find that if I've got in situations where I'm that intense, I don't make a lot of sense. So I'd be wise to just go, you know what, there's no logical stuff going to come out my mouth right now. So I'm just going to leave this place. You can hear the backup alarm going beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, well, I just did the reverse truck. I just couldn't. And I could still hear her. And I was like, man, read the room. And I'm like, no, Deborah, you read the room. You read the room. Don't tell her. So I took total ownership of it. Total ownership.
Yeah.
And I got confirmation that it wasn't personal when I found out she had done it to the last 4 people.
Yeah.
So I was
but
like,
you
okay.
know, I even feel like that is not only the confirmation that that's her stuff, but it's also confirmation that you were the boss of you and you took the high road.
Yeah.
Right?
It would have been pretty ugly if I hadn't have. I know. I saw it. I saw it.
Saw it escalating. But you know, that's going back to what I was saying earlier about the bandwidth. What's your bandwidth? And so it's like, well, I'm feeling really depleted right now. Like if depending on what you've got going on, and it is to do with your emotions, maybe how much sleep you've got, maybe what's going on in your head.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. So you check in with your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, and also have an awareness of when we talk about the self-soothing kit, it's so important to have a set of things, techniques, tools, ideas, go-to pieces that allow you to calm yourself physically, calm yourself emotionally, calm your thinking mind, and calm your connection to your higher self. So it's just, and it's such an important piece. And sometimes you can do that simply just by putting your hand on your heart, can actually do all 4 of those. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, right there. Take a nice deep breath, land in that moment, right?
Yeah, it is. I think when you were saying that, I just heard you say other people's opinions are none of your business. So if she didn't like me, I'll bring her into it. But if she didn't like me, it's not my business what she thinks of me.
Yeah.
She doesn't know me. She's just had an experience with me. And that's just a beautiful reminder when we think about that. What you were just saying was other people's opinions.
Nothing to do with you.
My business. No. And she has her own stuff, and I clearly had mine, and the worlds collided at that time.
Yes. Whoops, bonk, and reverse.
And I got on the plane. And I got on the plane and I arrived safely back in New Zealand with a giggle and a snigger. But did she have to stand at the thing to see me get on the plane? Thank goodness she didn't weigh my hand luggage. That's all I could say, because probably my hand luggage is more than the 7 kgs. In fact, it will have been. I didn't even think about that as I think that now.
That's funny.
Wow. Imagine if I'd racked up and she weighed my hand luggage. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, Deborah, stop.
Okay. There's still a little bit of charge that needs to be released here, I think.
Oh, I'm thankful because if I'd racked up and she weighed my hand luggage, I would have been over in my hand luggage. I know that for a fact. Okay, so that would have cost me another 75.
Okay,
See,
well, thanks. See, then thank goodness it was only 75 and not 150.
well, I did think, man, I'm thankful I've got money, because if I didn't have money and I had to pay this, and this is my last 75, and then I went, that's not yours to hold on to, Deborah.
No.
This is not your story. You've got the money, end of. You don't have to worry about everyone else who doesn't have the money. This is about you. But yeah. Anyway,
you are the boss of you.
Yeah. Anyway, people.
Anyways.
You are the boss of you. Let's wrap this up, because otherwise we could be on a tangent.
We could go down many other rabbit holes on this. You are the boss of you.
We could tell you a lot of stories. On these.
Yes, we could.
So grab that note-taking device if you didn't. We're gonna give you through the tips we had, just in a condensed version. Good luck. I hear myself say. So the tip I have here of you are the boss of you, is embody it. Live, breathe, and feel it, and embody it in your lifestyle. That sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to add the extra bit?
Yeah. No, I like that. I think I tagged on to that one is to get grounded and do the I am worthy, I am enough.
Oh yes, how did I not do that one? Because I talked about that. Oh, we talked about that earlier. I know. So I dot on my piece of paper. I was like, what was the rest?
Wonder what that was. Get grounded and tell yourself and breathe it. So breathe in, I am worthy, and breathe out, I am enough.
One of the most important things of how to be you're the boss of you. So I've got dot. Now we know what the dot was.
Yep.
Ground yourself. And the start of the call is a beautiful alignment to your energy, brings you back to your alignment of who you are right there. Yeah.
Most definitely. Yes.
The next one I have is nobody can make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
It's you. No one can make you feel a certain way. Yeah.
And without you choosing it.
Yes.
Right. Because sometimes, well, your story that you shared with us about the airline, you can choose to get all snarky.
Rah. And she was this, and I could pick on her personal. Yeah, no.
Yes. So being aware of it. The next one I have is the graphic that I read out of the things you control. You can control. I just really love these.
Can you say those again? Because they really are beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful. So there are 9 of them. So what you do in your free time, who you spend time with, how you recover from challenges, your boundaries, your daily habits, the way you speak to yourself, the content you consume, kindness towards yourself and others, and how grateful you are. Just that is actually such a beautiful way to sum up so many of the tips on how to be the boss of you. You are the boss of you.
I know they are. And my favorite one is what do you do in your free time?
Yeah.
I love that. Instead of going, I've got time, I've got free time, am I going to go see mum? Am I going to do this? Actually, you know what? I'm just going to sit and read. I'm just going to go back to right now. I'm not going to race from the other side of town. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sit. I love that. Yeah.
Before we got on, I said that to you. It's like, I'm just going to stay in bed a bit longer.
That's right. We talked. That's exactly it. And that alone is you are the boss of you.
Yeah.
Again, it's that I'm making choices for me.
Yes.
For me.
Yep.
For me.
Yep.
And with that one we had, I wrote down what can you control as your decisions, actions, and emotions.
Yeah.
And that's when Moira questioned me. Well, actually, she raised an eyebrow. I don't think she questioned me. But it was about you've got to see these things. You've got to see them first, because if you can't see it, you can't live it and breathe it.
Yeah.
You've got to go, there's my emotion there. Yeah. Like in my story, I could feel my emotion coming up. My emotion was right from my toes coming up. All the way.
Yes.
All the way. Yeah. So once you can see them, definitely, but it's your decisions, actions, and emotions.
Yeah, I like that one. And from there, I brought up the 4 agreements. because your story, what you shared, it was such a beautiful illustration of how important and how impactful the four agreements are to maintaining that role that you are the boss of you. So being impeccable with your word, that's always knowing that the words that you use to yourself, about yourself, and in conversation are impeccable. They're based in integrity.
Yeah.
To not take things personally, to not make assumptions, and to just do your best. Right? So you're doing your best is always checking in, what's my bandwidth today? And sometimes that means, oh, I'm just not going to go have that conversation, or I just got triggered over here, so I'm going to vacate this space. Right?
And it is that it is all of those things. It's just taking your power back.
Yep.
You know, you are the boss of you is taking your power back. But you didn't actually lose your power. You just lost a level of yourself in your mind that you thought you lost your power.
Yep.
That's all.
That's all.
And you said this one here is, how does this make me feel about me? And I love that,
Yeah.
because it really takes it back to, this is not about them. This
Yep.
is not about their stuff. This is actually, how does this make me feel about me? And if I go back to that moment, I had to hold it in, because it just wouldn't have, you know, I know for me, it would have been worse for the ramifications if I'd spoken up.
Yeah.
And how does this make me feel about me? I feel I've taken not the higher ground. I've just chosen a different path. I don't need to say I took the higher ground of doing whatever I did, because my ego was definitely there, 100%. But I don't, because I turned my back on her. I didn't just look at her in the eye and listen. I went, oh no, oh no. And that was just the easiest. But how did it make me feel about me? I diffused the situation.
Yeah, you did.
But
You did.
she was all ready for a situation, I suspect. She's on a, I'm going to see how many people I get over. Yeah. But how does this make me feel about me? Because I'm the one who has to sleep at night for the decisions I make.
Yeah. Yeah. Because being the boss of you, you know that you want to be able to sleep easy, knowing you did the best you could at that
Everything I
point
could
with
what I had. Yeah.
yeah.
And it is that. It is the four agreements again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. The next one I brought in was talking about curiosity. And that is, I mean, asking that question, how does this make me feel about me, does open up to curiosity. But I really like curiosity. It's been coming up of late. What Deb's been coming up with is wholesome of late. And I've been coming up with, let's be curious. To just like, oh, what am I going to discover here? And oh, what might I learn here? What and know that there are going to be some things where you might need to get into some self-soothing. And so it's curiosity about do I need to shift and change the things that soothe me or calm my nervous system? That comes about.
Yeah, what part of this has actually hit me the hardest? And let's look at that.
Yeah.
And I will say, when you said that word wholesome, I definitely wasn't wholesome. I definitely wasn't. I tell you, I was not wholesome. But I tried the best.
You tried the best. Yes.
But wholesome was definitely not a word.
That wasn't in that scenario.
No. But I was surprised, because I thought, oh, if you don't let this go, you're going to have complications all the way through here.
Yeah.
When you get through, you have a problem. When you go through this, there's going to be a problem. You're going to get to the lounge, it's going to be a problem, because I'm like, because you've got, and that's the other thing, you're the boss of you. Your energy repels. It radiates out there. So if you've got that shite, if I'm taking that through, I would have had that in customers. I would have had that with the tray people. I would have, just imagine, because people say when you have one problem, they just escalate until you actually deal with it. Like when you're running
you
around the
become
house.
Velcro to all these other things that are going to come get stuck to you.
I do, because so I'm adding another tip here when we're talking about the be curious. Also, look at your energy.
Yeah.
Look at what you're attracting out, not just what happened to you, but what role did you play with that?
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, that's an important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moira mentioned briefly the self-soothing kit, and I call it a glitter bomb kit and a self-soothing kit. It's just what lights you up and feels divineness and wholesome and just beautiful for you. Wholesome. There we got that.
There
word
he is.
back.
There it is. We got Deb back into being wholesome.
We got back to, but if I see her again, but it wholesome when it goes back to what feels right for you, and saying no is part of that self-soothing kit.
Definitely.
Saying no to things right now.
Yeah.
Is part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I have here is, you said, and I like this, I think it's a really important one, is to don't avoid. If you stuff things down or say, I'm not gonna deal with that, I'll speak to them later, I'll deal with that later, eruptions happen. So you can't pretend, like in your story, you can't pretend, oh, that's fine, this person's charging me $75. I'm fine. No, you can't pretend it away. So it's like
I wanted to. I wanted to.
but it, like you said, it will erupt in inconvenient moments if you do stuff it down.
Yeah, I don't know any eruption that's happened in a beautiful, safe
No,
environment.
no.
Just comes out from nowhere, and you're like, "What?" So, Oni, respect yourself.
Yeah.
Respect yourself would be
Yep.
the word there. I'm just going to do a little thing about Moira and I. Now, I know my story's been a little bit entertaining, and there's clearly some more work for me to work on. But Moira and I are great at what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We are here, and if you want to know how to treat people at check encounters, there's good banter and bad banter, and then there's just banter. So Moira and I are here to show you the banter that works for you, and we are adaptable to your style of who you are as a person. So yeah, we are adaptable to this thing. We're different, but we're not. We both get an outcome for you in a different journey. You're going to have a different journey with Moira than you will with me, but you're going to get an outcome of being wholesome in your heart. You're going to feel fulfilled. You're going to let this stress disperse from you, and it's not going to run you.
Yeah.
So we are here.
In your authentic way. That's what we're doing, is finding their authentic way, right?
Yeah. What works for them? We've been doing this together for over 80 years.
I know, that's just so freaky to say that out loud.
No, I know I'm still in my 50s, early 50s. But we are here for you. So please don't just show up and listen to the podcast. Actually engage with us. We're here. We have our wisdom. Let us share our wisdom with you. Let us jump into your journey and you jump into ours.
Yeah.
Because we're here for you. So don't feel like you're not alone. You're not alone in this.
Nope.
We've got your back. But you've
Definitely.
got to reach out first. Yeah.
Yep. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
What tip have you got next?
I had acceptance.
Oh yeah, accepting what I have. Okay.
Just accepting what's going on, accepting that it just it shuts the chaos down. That's what you said when I said it, and I like that. Acceptance just is, I don't have to like it, I don't have to approve of it, I don't have to engage with it, but I just say, this is where it is. This is what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
And it allows us to do the see, hear, and acknowledge when we accept, right?
Yeah, just that's it. I mean, the truth is, if I go back to that thing, I did it. I was over. End of.
Yeah, done.
And then you can't blame victim. Become victorious. Yeah, can't blame victim because the truth was I was over. End of.
Yep.
And when we talk about this accepting what is, I've got here see and feel your emotions, and that's conscious being a 1 to 10 when you go from a 1 to 10, or you go from a 1 to 20 from that. But just be aware, see and feel them, don't run from them again. But there's a PEMS that we talk about, and that's your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. If they're out of alignment, if those 4 pillars are out of alignment, you are going to wobble.
Yeah.
End of. Yep. You are going to wobble. So just go, okay, no wonder I'm a little bit emotional. I've had lack of sleep. Or no wonder I'm emotional because I've eaten too much food. Or no wonder I'm emotional because I'm trying to make a decision that I don't know is going to work for everyone else. Like, acknowledge that stuff. But your PEMS is a great a litmus test to check in where you are. And do that when you feel yourself, you're driving and you get very angry with something and you don't know what it is. Just go, okay, what does this represent for me? Oh, I've had lack of sleep and I'm on a time frame, or I haven't eaten. If you haven't eaten for 6 or 7 hours and from breakfast morning and late in the afternoon, you are going to feel a little bit differently.
Yep. So that's and I mentioned it, I did mention it about the self-soothing kit. You want to make sure that you have components in how you look after yourself and take care of yourself that actually help fill your cup, if you like, on all those levels, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And I had said that you could actually deal or take care of all four of those simply by putting your hand on your heart and focusing on your breath for a few rounds, because that does calm you back into your physical body. Feel your physical body. It calms you down emotionally, it calms your thinking process, and it actually does connect you with your heart energy, your higher self. So that's
It's a beautiful grounding.
yeah.
Just shuts down the brain noise.
Yep.
It's like, okay, here we go. I'm coming back to me, coming back to the boss of me.
Yep.
Again.
I am the boss of me. And so that's some people describe the heart as the seat of the soul. So the more we come into there, the more we kind of go, oh, I've got this. All is well in my world.
Yep. The next tip I have is other ...
Oh, okay.
Did you know what that is or not?
I don't, because I don't have any more. So other ...
Well, okay, well, you went. Okay, so other people's business and not other.
Oh, look at you. Well done. Other people's opinions of you, not your business.
That's right. Other ... Who would have thought that was? So other people's opinions have got nothing to do with you and none of your business.
None of your business.
Crikey,
okay.
What a way to end that one on there.
That's funny. That's funny. ... You know, I often, one more piece on that one is that I think it's really important to let it go. Everybody's going to have an opinion of you. Can you just be okay with people have their opinion? Well, you didn't do that good, or you did do that, or just of late, I've had some feedback given to me about how I dealt with a situation. And I was kind of like, that's an interesting perspective, but it's their stuff. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's not my opinion.
And I love that. So that's part of that be curious. Actually, I'm going to be curious. Is this my ego, or is actually, no, this feels right. Actually, no, you're right. This is them. This is not me. I don't have to take it on. But if there is that part of, okay. Yep, okay.
Yeah, there is something I need to address, then
yeah.
But that's from a space of, I am the boss of me. I've not done something wrong.
No, that's right. That's from a heartfelt place. Like, actually, this is mine to look at. This is mine. I'm in control of my decisions and actions.
Yeah.
And I wrote one down. I wrote one down to think about this. But if you want people to respect you, you have to respect yourself.
Yes.
That's if you want people to respect you, your boundaries, your yes, no, your voices, it's time for you to respect yourself. If you're not respecting yourself, people can sniff that out and they can overpower you in different ways. So take that bossness back and start respecting yourself, and you'll see that ripple, because that's how you inspire others to unlock their own potential, is by walking your talk.
Yes. So that's the one that I like to say, that we teach others how to treat us and how to speak to us. So it's exactly that, right? Absolutely. So sometimes if people are talking in a derogatory way to you, that's kind of oh, wait, did I say or do something that allows you or that gave you permission? Then we're going to change that scenario, change the script.
Yeah, totally. And your circle is important.
Yeah.
We're going to end up doing a lot more tips here, Deborah. I can feel myself. Your circle is important. So give quick, bring it back to wrapping it up.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. I trust you got some profound insights today, everybody. You got some golden nuggets that you went, yep. Whether that is listening that you don't want to travel with Deborah or not, whether that's it or not, whatever that is. But I trust that you got some profound insights today, because there was some
there's some really good ones in here.
Yeah, some strategies. And you know, the one that I really love the most is what you do in your free time. Like, it's really making you look at, what do you want to do in your free time?
Yeah.
Instead of just zombieing out or whatever. What do you want to spend it with people, or spend it with yourself? And it's a great one just to get curious and look at your life. It's enough to pull yourself back and just go, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So everybody, are you playing life to the fullest you can do? Are you respecting yourself? Are you curious with what's going on around you? Are you looking at your emotions? Are you weighing your suitcases before you go to the airport? Are you doing these things that make you feel wholesome inside, reminding yourself that you are the boss of you? So in saying that, I would love you to, after listening today, what is your one particular tip or strategy that you feel has given you the most value that you're going to implement just for today, just to start today?
Just
what is
for
that
today.
one
Like
to do? Because that is going to have an impact on its own. So, and we would love you to share that. Let us know what one you loved about that, because we want to know. We're putting together our favorite tips, and let us know what works for you and what doesn't, and how simple it was, because you'll realize it is actually pretty simple when you've made that decision, because you're committing to yourself, you're respecting yourself, you are the boss of you.
Absolutely.
So in saying that, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to our podcast conversation. I want to thank Moira for her words of wisdom today. Thank the reel or the quote she found on Facebook. That wasn't a teabag quote today.
No
really
teabag quotes today.
Yeah, no teabag quote. What's going on? We're going to Facebook for this. But thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate that you got some profound insights from today. And you will hear us on our next podcast. But do let us know what tips you're gonna take away that are gonna actions. What tips you're taking away, what action steps you're taking away that's going to take the power back for you to remind yourself that you are the boss of you.
I love it. Thank you, dear Deb. Thank you for your insight too, and your entertaining story.
I'll just polish that up a little bit. I'll polish that up for our next call.
That sounds good. All right. Thank you, dear listeners. We'll be back with you for our next episode. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Deborah and Moira, where the mission is to help listeners unlock their full potential and thrive, not just survive. As the episode comes to a close, they trust you've gained some powerful insights. If you haven't already, take a moment to reflect on one key takeaway that you'll apply right away. Before we wrap things up, Deborah and Moira would love to hear from you. Reach out with thoughts, questions, or feedback and drop your favorite tip from today's episode. They're inspired to see how you're putting your insights into action. Thanks for listening, and remember to keep thriving.